So on your home page, you are going to click the Sway icon to open up Microsoft Sway. Now, when you're on your Sway homepage, you'll notice that you can create a blank Sway and that you can start from a document. And then you'll see some templates here of different of different types of sways that you can create. I'm actually going to show you, let's see if I can get logged in really quickly to my own account. So I can quickly show you different ways that I like to use Sway. So I've used Sway as newsletters, as presentations. I've used it to apply for positions. Sway is really like a static web page. And while that's loading, I'm actually going to show you some slides to make it a little bit easier to explain for my visual learners. All right, so let's skip through some of that. My presentation took me all the way back to the beginning, but let's look at Sway. There we go. So Microsoft actually calls Sway its digital storytelling app. It is, well, now I think with a lot of activity and usage, it's being more presented as a presentation tool, but it really is about expressing yourself through the art of storytelling, but in a digital way. So with Sway, you can weave images, music, narratives together, and I've had my students use it to share stories that they've created or written, to present information that they've learned. I've used it as a mini exit ticket. So there are many different ways that you can use Sway. With Sway, students are practicing their research skills, their writing skills, organization skills, as well as technology skills. In addition, it also helps them with their presentation and communication skills. So even though we're in this remote learning environment, and students are mainly learning through an online platform like Teams meetings, students can still use it to present their information and present what they've learned. You don't have to worry about them trying to upload a PowerPoint presentation. With Sway, you just share the link, and then they can use that link to present their content to you, and you can sort of drive the presentation. You could be their Vanna as they're explaining what they have created. So as I said, it's a part of Office 365. It is really easy to use, and the nice thing about it is you can use it in any browser, on any device. So, well, I'll take that back. You can use it on any browser. There used to be a Sway app for mobile devices, but Microsoft got rid of it. But you can use it on Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari, Internet, Microsoft Edge. You can use it on any browser. With Sway, you can use any type of media as well. So you can embed everything from Microsoft Forms to tweets to live feeds, as well as documents. So you can actually embed Office documents. For teachers, you can use it to present your class materials. So I use PowerPoint probably less and less these days. I mainly use Sway, and I didn't even think about it. I should have used Sway to present this content right now. But teachers are also using it to create like memory books. I just did a presentation sometime last week for a school system where the teachers were creating like these memory books using Sway for the school year. So because they couldn't have like graduation, or they couldn't have end of year parties, they created these interactive digital sways for the end of the year, and it was actually pretty cool. For students, they can use it for their own presentation or projects, and they can also use it to build portfolios. So if you are, let's say, an art teacher, and your students want to present their art in a digital format and create like an e-portfolio, you could use Sway for that, or they could use Sway for that. So now let's look at a live demo. Now, when I am in my personal Sway. This is just one of my Sway accounts. I have a ton because I have personal and professional use. But when you're in Sway, you can create a new Sway. You can start from a topic, or you can start from a document. What you'll probably notice, which I'm sure this question has come up, if you are in Office 365 and you click on the Sway icon, it will bring you to this landing page in Sway, where it's a little bit more simplified and easy for you to find Sways that you've already created. If you type in sway.office.com, it'll actually take you to this page that will give you one extra feature that says start from a topic. So either one is fine. I'm going to demo start from a topic first because I find this the easiest for people to understand and easiest for you to see how you could create one in less than like 5 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you how to use Sway to create one from scratch and my technique for teaching to your students for creating a new presentation from scratch. But let's start with start from a topic. So I'm going to click start from a topic, and I can enter in any topic that I want to create my presentation. So if my students are learning about the Civil War, if they're learning about osmosis, if they're learning about the water cycle, or as you can see here, some topics, sample topics, dinosaur, photosynthesis, I can type in any of those, and Sway will create this outline for me. As a parent, as a teacher, I've had many students with many different learning styles, learning preferences, but as a parent, I have a child who has ADD, ADHD, and it's very difficult for him to really focus and create an outline when it comes to writing or creating a presentation. And Sway really helps him to kind of get that basic template or basic skeleton first before he starts creating a presentation. So I'm going to do, let's do the water cycle. So I'll start with something easy. And then I'll click create outline. As soon as I click create outline, Sway will automatically build this presentation for me. Now, it's not giving me full content, right? It's just giving me some ideas. And you will see some images there. You'll see that there's some pre-created text there, but you'll also notice that there's a big box or a box there, a card that says this Sway was started using auto-generated content that the author searched for. So what I find is when I'm teaching students how to use Sway, and if I teach them how to do start from a topic, that's the first thing that I cover in a mini lesson is copyright and fair use. And I talk about the importance of paraphrasing, using your own words, and that this is meant to be a guide. And you'll see that there are some footnotes here. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I can see the references for those footnotes. And then I also see another card that says this Sway was auto-generated. I like that Sway puts those cards throughout because we will have students who will try, right? They'll try to pass this off as their own. And most of them probably won't even scroll all the way to the bottom. But it's nice that that's there so that they will know that this is something that they did not create themselves. Sway is divided into cards. And if we think of those cards as slides, like in a PowerPoint, it will help you to really, really understand how Sway works. So I'm just going to first click play here in the right hand corner so that I can see what my presentation looks like so far. So this is my Sway presentation. There's my title. If I scroll down, I can see that it's coming together. It's not quite what I want. I can see all those notes, those footnotes in there, which lets me know this is not mine. And then I have some information in here that as a student, I probably don't need. My teacher probably just wanted me to do a basic presentation to show what I know about the water cycle. So I'm going to click edit. And the first thing I'm going to do is start deleting out some of these cards that I don't need. So the first thing is, it says description. So I might actually click in there and change this. This is a heading card. I'm going to change this to how the water cycle works. You'll see there's an image card there. I'll keep that. And then these other boxes or cards, I don't really need. So I'm going to click the trash can on those cards to delete them out. You'll notice that there's a gray box around these two cards because it grouped those two items together. I don't need this entire group, so I'm going to click the entire group instead of the individual cards and click the trash can to delete it. And I'm going to do the same thing for a few more of these. All right, so I'll keep my references because I'll probably go back and change some of these references. All right, so now I have a really short presentation about how the water cycle works. You'll also notice that I have this short summary here that was auto-generated, so I really need to make this my own. What I would like to do is, since this is talking about how the water cycle works, I'm going to actually use my arrow or my mouse to hover over the top of the card anywhere until I get those two cross arrows, and I'm going to left click and drag it down, and you'll see a green line appear, and that lets me know that's where I want my card to drop. So now I'm going to let my mouse go, and there is that card. So now I need to go and change some of this text to use it in my own words about how the water cycle works. So I'm going to say the water cycle describes how water moves on and below the Earth's surface. Water moves from one place to the other in 5 stages. First, you have evaporation and condensation, of precipitation and runoff. Okay, and I'm going to delete some of this other stuff out. Now that's just a quick summary. This is just something really quick that if I was a student I might type. And you could always, if you're using a rubric, which I think you should, you probably want to add more criterion that says maybe they need 3 or 4 sentences, okay? So now I can actually click play, and I still have my picture at the top. You'll notice that card is still there that says this way was started using auto-generated content. I'm actually going to go back to the top and click edit. And since I actually redid this and retyped and deleted things out, I'm going to delete that out because now I'm going to make it my own. And actually, I'm going to also click this image card and click the trash can and delete that out. Now I'm going to add my own images by clicking this green plus, choosing image, and then as soon as I click image, you'll notice that the AI, or the artificial intelligence that's built into the system, is searching for water cycle images based on text that's in my presentation. You'll also see that Earth is there, evaporation, condensation, but I'm just going to click on this folder that says water cycle, and then it'll bring up pictures for me to use in my presentation. As a student, I can choose any image that I want, and there are 2 ways that you can add images. I can either drag and drop, so I'm going to left click and hold and drag this image on top of the box over there. So now that was in there. Or I can select it by just selecting or clicking the right corner, and then at the top you'll see a green button that says add. So now I'm going to click add, and that will add those 2 pictures. So now let's click play to see what my presentation looks like. So there is water cycle. how the water cycle works. So there's my summary. There are my two pictures. Then I have my references at the bottom. Okay, but maybe I don't really like how this looks, but I'm done with my content. I'm going to click edit again. And this time I'm going to click design. So the focus of Sway is to have you focus. You'll notice that design is not the first landing page that you get to in Sway. Storyline is, because the focus of Sway is to have students focus on the story or their content and then come back and work on the design. The problem with PowerPoint, which we all love PowerPoint, it's a necessary skill that students need to learn how to do, create presentations, or to use Office, because PowerPoint or Office is one of the most used applications in the business world. But for the design aspect of it, when you're using PowerPoint, most of the time students focus too much on animations and transitions and getting their slides right in the backgrounds, and it can become too much when we really want them to focus on their presentation. If you've ever, and I'm sure many of you have, if you've ever given your students a presentation as an assignment, and you had to either take them to the library or you had set in your lesson plan that they were going to work on it over 2 sessions, and you found that over 3 or 4 sessions they were still working on it, it's because most likely they were trying to really design more than they were writing their content. Sway is the opposite. So on my design page, in the very right hand corner, I'll have a button that says Styles. When I click Styles, it'll let me change my background and customize some of my font, but there are pre-created styles here. So students don't have to go through all of that, all of the transitions and animations and things like that with PowerPoint. Another neat feature for students is that even if this is overwhelming, they can actually click this remix button, my favorite out of all the Sway features, and Sway will choose a background for them. So I'm going to click remix, and that was the background that it chose. Now, as a student, I might say, ooh, I don't really like that green, right? So I'm going to go back to styles, and I'm going to click remix again. Now that one takes the color out of my picture. Not quite sure I like that. So I'm going to click remix again. Oh, now that's nice. Okay, so let's say I like that, and you'll notice at the top it auto selected the transition style or the format. So right now it's flowing horizontally, but let's say I want it to flow vertically. I can click that so it'll flow or scroll vertically. And now when I look at it, I actually like that. So that's pretty nice. Okay. So now I need to actually go back, fix my references, and then delete this last card at the bottom. So I'm going to go back to Storyline, scroll to the bottom, click this card to delete it, and then I actually deleted those images and added my own. Now you'll notice that when you add images in Sway, they're auto Creative Commons license. So I always tell my students to keep that checked. And then if they don't and they select something else, so if I uncheck that box, it'll show me all images, and then they'll need to make sure that they cite their sources. All right, let's say this presentation is done and I like how it looks. Now I can click share. And when I click share, it gives me 3 options for sharing. I can choose specific people, and if I do that, I would need to enter the name or email addresses of those individuals that I want to invite. If I choose those in your organization and then copy the link, that means anyone who has a k12.dc.gov email address will be able to access this Sway. If I choose anyone with a link, that means anyone. If my students sent it to other schools, other students, their cousin, anybody, then they would have access to view this presentation. I'll also need to choose the permissions as far as if I want them to have viewing rights only, or if I want them to be able to edit my Sway. And then you have some other options for sharing. So you can share to Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. You can get an embed code to embed it on a web page or website. And then you can also get a visual link. Now I'm going to just copy this link to view, and then I'm actually going to post it in the team. So I'm going to go to Sway, and I'm actually going to save this as an announcement. It's the link there, and then I'm going to cross-post it to all of the other teams. So I'm going to post it in team 1B, 1C, 1D, 1A. So it'll go and appear in your Sway channel. All right, so that is done. Now, I'm going to go back to Sway, and on my home page, I went back to my Office 365 account, and you can do this either way. So if you're still on this page, that's fine. Or if you did what I showed you earlier and type sway.office.com, so it will take you to the other landing page that gives you the option to start from a topic. Either way is fine. Right now, we're going to create a Sway from scratch. All right, so I'm going to click Create New. And you'll notice that this Sway is not populated with anything. It's just a blank Sway. Now, if I'm doing this with my students, and I'll just use this as I'll pretend these are index cards. So normally when if you guys can see me, normally when I'm doing this or teaching students how to do it, I give them 5 or 6 index cards. If they're young, maybe 5. If they're older, sometimes I give them between 5 and 8. So I'm just going to tear off 5 sheets of paper and pretend these are index cards. All right. So when I'm doing this with my students, before they even touch Sway or click Sway, and if you're doing this remotely in an online classroom, you can have them use their notebooks, okay, or 5 sheets of blank paper if they don't have index cards. And what I normally tell them, or they can take 1 sheet of paper and draw lines to make 5 sections. However you want to do it is fine, but this gives those students a visual when they need help with kind of processing their ideas. So first I'll say, on your first card or in your first box, I want you to write the title of your presentation. So I want you to do that now. Everyone, I'm going to do it as well. So I'm going to write the title of my presentation, and the title is My 2020 Summer Vacation. Okay? Now, on the second card or second box or second sheet of paper, however you want to tell your students to do it, you're going to write 1 to 2 sentences about your topic. So I'm going to write a couple sentences. So I'm going to say, my vacation was thwarted because of COVID. However, I'm planning a few day trips. Okay. Now, on my third card, I'm going to write or sketch an image that I want to include in my presentation. So I might want a picture of a beach, so I'm going to write beach. Or I might want a picture of, I don't know, a farm, if I'm going to go on a farm for my day trip. Okay, so I just wrote those 2 words, or I could sketch it out. I could draw some water. On my fourth card, or my fourth box, I'm going to write a few more sentences about my presentation. So this is where I might go into more detail. I'm going to go to the beach with my family. I'm going to drive north to see lighthouses. Okay, and then on my last card, I'm going to add images or a video. So I'm just going to write a word or sketch an idea for a video So I might say I'm going to add a lighthouse and find a video of a lighthouse. Okay, so now that your students have their cards, now they can start writing their presentation. This helps gives them a visual because it replicates a card on Sway. So the first one says title. So I'm going to use my card to type my title. So my title is My Summer Vacation. I'm going to click the plus button. And my second card said I was supposed to write sentences about my presentation. Okay, so I'm going to choose a text card, and now I can type my sentences. Now my third card says beach and farm, and it says image. So I need to click my green plus, and this time I'm going to do an image. And you'll notice, just like before, it's using my title and other words in my presentation so far to give me ideas on what I want to search for. So I'm going to choose summer vacation, and I really said beach, right? Oh, but beach popped up, so great. So I'm going to drag a few pictures that I like for the beach. So drag a couple of them over there. And then I also said something about a drive, but for now, oh, there's a drive. Perfect, there we go. All right, so now I have 4 pictures in there. All right, so on the last card, the very last one that I inserted, I'm going to click plus because I want to add a card under that. I have 2 more sentences. So I'm going to choose text, and now type those sentences. Oh, I think I wrote those in order, out of order, but it's okay. All right, and then my last card is an image. It said lighthouses. So now I'm going to click that plus again, and this time, instead of choosing an image, I'm going to click the group that says media, and I'm going to click video because I want to do a video. Now I don't know if I'll find a lighthouse video, but it's okay. Oh, there's a video, America's First Lighthouse. Perfect. I'll go visit that. So I'm going to drag that over there. And now my presentation is finished. So when I click play, let's see what it looks like. Wow, that's actually not too bad. So there are my images there. And then there's my video. But let's say I want to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to show you how to clean this up. And then Nick will come back with some other tools. So let me click edit. And I'm going to show you a couple tricks. So the first thing is, I want to actually group these pictures together because I don't really like how they're sitting up there. So to group a picture or a group of pictures, you can hold or left click and drag one on top of the other. And when I do that, you'll notice that there's a button that says group. It'll automatically group if I let it go. So when I click and let it go, it grouped those pictures for me. And then there was a dialog box that appeared on the right hand side that shows me different ways I can group. But first I'm going to add those other pictures. So I'm going to left click and drag to add that one to the group. And now there's this other one here at the bottom. I'll drag that one to the group. And then I think there was one more. Oh no, it was just 4. Okay, so now I have my 4 pictures. And when I click on the group, there we go. When I click on the group, I can click group type. And then let's say I want something kind of fancy. So there's many different ways that you can use it, but my favorite is the stack. So I'm going to click stack, and it will stack the pictures on top of one another so that when I click them, they look like a deck of cards, like you're playing a deck of cards. And I'm also going to make these larger. So whenever you add an image or a video, you'll have 3 icons here for the emphasis. So the first is basically small, then you have medium, then you have large. So I want the pictures to kind of stand out. So I'm gonna at least do medium. So now let me click play. See? All right, so now Sway will give me a little hint, or my viewers, it'll say flip, just tap to flip through this stack. So I can just tap it and it flips through the pictures. Nice. All right, and then there's my lighthouse. But my lighthouse video is kind of small. So I'm gonna click edit again. And this time I'm gonna go to the bottom, click on my video, and instead of doing small or medium, I'm going to make it larger. And then click play. So that's pretty decent. So now my video is a lot bigger. And if I'm ready to play it, or my viewers, when they play it, it'll actually play inside of here. All right. So I'm gonna
lighthouses are a storied part of American history.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So now I'm ready to share. I can click share. And the same thing, you want to make sure you're sharing it. Choose your permissions. So I'm going to choose anyone with a link. No, actually, and then I'm going to choose edit and click copy. Now I'm doing this so that you guys can actually edit my Sway and play around with it, or you can make your own, totally up to you. But I want you to see what it looks like if you choose to edit. All right, so I'm going to stop to see if there are any burning questions so that Nick can jump in with some other tools before we wrap this up. Nick, are there any questions or things that I need to revisit, or are we good?
Camila and Chris, you guys want to share?
No?
No, I think I'm addressed the most of those.
We are answering them all in the chat. I think one person wanted to see some ways that you could make a Sway interactive or embed something into a Sway.
Okay, so I'll add one thing to it, and then you guys, I'm giving you access now to this Sway, to my Sway, so you can actually edit and add other things to it if you want. So feel free to do that and play around with that. All right, so let me post this really quickly. All right, so there's the Sway for you to edit. Now let me go back to my Sway there. So if you click the plus here at the bottom, and you click text, media, is where you can upload different items. So if you click upload, a dialog box will appear, and so you can upload anything that you have stored on your computer, a PDF, a PowerPoint, a Word document. So this isn't relevant, but let's say I wanted to insert this Word document that says causes of the Civil War. I know it's not relevant, but I'm just showing you as an example. Click open, and now it will embed that file. If I click the plus again and choose media, I can, there we go. Media, and choose embed, I can actually get an embed code. So if I go to forms, let's say I have a form, let's say this practice math quiz, and I wanted to embed a form in my Sway. Let's say I was teaching my students or having a review about equations, and I wanted to embed that in the presentation as after we reviewed it. I can click, oh, that's the QR code, sorry. Click the embed, copy it. Now I'm going to paste that code here. And then when I click play, oh, I see someone change my my group of pictures from a stack to a grid. All right, but now there's that form embedded. There it is. All right, so I'm going to stop here so that Nick can go and show us some more tools, and I'll be posting some resources and some other tips and tricks on Sway, on how to use Sway in the Sway channel. I'll cover things like how to make your Sway accessible. So if you have a student who needs accessibility view, if they're using a screen reader, you can actually click these dots and make it accessible so that students can read it. You guys are changing it and having fun. Good for you. And then if I go to my settings, I can set my sway to auto play. So kind of like it'll just go by itself. So those are some tips and tricks I'll add into the sway section. All right, Nick, I am done.